it's another one of those cases where, people come in and say, well, conference didn't address much for singles because they didn't really talk to the singles. And, I think that's just so narrow-minded. I don't think that you have to talk to a specific demographic or audience in order for that audience to take something that's beneficial for that audience away. And I feel that's really the case with general conference and singles issues. Most of the brethren don't talk specifically to singles or about singles issues in general conference because, hello, it's general conference. So they're speaking to a general audience. They're speaking to the general membership of the church. And, so I mean, now it doesn't mean that they can't talk to a specific demographic, and they have. They have, from time to time, they have spoken to specific demographics. But overall, they need to understand that the people that are in their audience are not just one demographic. And I think the brethren, by and large, understand this. I think they they're really cognizant of that. And so, you know, it if you're expecting that the brethren are going to have to talk to singles directly in order to address singles issues, in order for singles to take something valuable away from conference, again, I think you're just very narrow-minded, and you need to broaden your perspective. You need to expand your vision because there is something for singles in every single general conference, something valuable, something that singles can take away that helps them, confront and overcome the challenges of LDS singles life. There is something there in every single conference, and I've found it by looking for it. Yeah, it's the age-old, seek and ye shall find that we get from the Savior's Sermon on the Mount. Seek and ye shall find. So when I go seeking amongst the general conference talks for, topics, address singles issues, I find it. I find it. And, Elder Renlund's address is a perfect example of this. He was not speaking directly to singles, and yet how many of us who are single have felt a sense of infuriating unfairness about our single situation? Honestly, I mean, you look at, never marrieds like myself. I mean, I can talk about my own experience where it just does not seem fair that someone who's tried so hard to be faithful and tried to do the right thing, and I'll admit I'm not perfect, and that's nothing new. I mean, I've never admitted to being perfect. I mean, anyone who knows me for a considerable length of time will know that I've often described myself as a walking construction zone. I've got more imperfections than Swiss cheese has holes. I've never laid claim to perfection or anywhere near to it. And yet, I have tried to do the right thing. And so you would think that, well, if you're just trying to do the right thing, surely, this wonderful companion that you keep hearing about, that person should be in your life. And when that person doesn't come into your life, you're like, well, what's going on? And then you see who it is that they chase. You see who it is and how worldly the values are that are, determining their decisions. And you're looking at the situation, you're thinking, I'm trying to reach for eternity, and yet I'm having to deal with all of these people who are denying me that blessing because they're making decisions based on worldly values, not eternal ones, worldly ones. That doesn't really seem fair. Why should I be denied blessings because these other people are too worldly in their perspective and in their mindset and in their outlook? Why? And, I could say that about single women that I've seen, but I'm sure a lot of those single women could make similar contentions about the single men in the church. And I've seen that amongst my brethren as well, that many of them also have very worldly values by which they make their decisions. Is it fair that you're trying to strive for, those eternal covenants, and you're trying to adopt the values of eternity in your life, and yet you're denied eternal blessings because of the choices of it? See, that's just not fair. And it's infuriating because we live in this culture. Latter-day Saints live in a culture that prizes marriage and family. Our traditional culture, and I've talked about this before, it's the root of, the bulk of our problems as Latter-day Saint singles. It comes from the culture. It comes from the culture that basically says if you want to belong, you need to be married with kids. And singles, by definition, are not married. So then singles, by definition, don't belong. So we're here struggling, trying to feel like we belong when we don't have the thing that by definition we need to belong. So, that creates this dissonance. And that is the root of many of the problems that we have. Many of the challenges of LDS singles life come from this cultural root. And I've spoken about this before on this program for I don't know how long. It's since the inception. Since I started broadcasting, even before then on the blog, I've been talking about this and how we need to change the culture and come to a culture that's centered on Christ and our shared covenants, our shared discipleship, our shared commitment to try to follow him and to exemplify his life in our own. That is something that we could all come around together. And that is something that could unite us and bring us together and transform our culture into one that's much more inclusive. But, still, that's a fight that I think we're going to be fighting for some time. I do see, events moving in a good direction. I think the brethren are aware of this. I think they've been taking steps to try to move the culture in that direction. They haven't been very overt about it, and I wish that they would be. I wish that they would come out and just talk directly about this is what needs to happen. This is where we are. This is where we need to go. This is what we need to do to get there. Let's do it. And I wish they'd just be more overt about it. But okay, that for whatever reason they're not being, so that it is what it is. I'm glad to see, and I'm grateful to see that they're moving in a good direction. They're trying to move in a positive direction. They're trying to move the general membership of the church into a direction where we are more inclusive of those who don't have the traditional marker of belonging. I'm very grateful for that. But again, I go back to these people who they look at General Conference and they say, well, they didn't really talk to singles, so there's nothing here for me. And I just think that's incredibly narrow-minded. Elder Renlund, again, is a good example of someone who did not talk specifically to singles, and yet if we were to look at what he had to write, what he had to deliver, his remarks, and we actually put that out and try to, incorporate what he's saying into our lives, we can find great benefit. We can find answers to the challenges of LDS singles life, because many of us do think it's infuriatingly unfair, and for many of us it is.
Howdy peeps, it's the wonderful splendiferous host of Join the Journey Radio here, and if you like this video, do me a small favor. Look down below, see right there below the video where it says like? Yeah, press the like button, yeah, thumbs up baby. Like this video. Do me a favor, like the video, and if you want to see more videos that we publish here on this channel, be sure to subscribe so you get notifications of all our latest content. If you want to see full-length videos of complete episodes of all the content that we produce, so Join the Journey Radio, The World of Ted, whatever it is, go to our website, jointhejourneyradio.com, and become a JJ's owner by subscribing to our membership community.